All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a game between RVS and ZhyJy, two players I haven't heard before, but this replay is highlighted from the WarCraft 3 info website. We'll see what is in store for us. One thing to note, both of these players opted to go random. So RVS randomed into Undead, meanwhile ZhyJy randomed into Human. Probably just going to say Human versus Undead throughout the rest of this matchup now, just so I don't get tongue-tied too much. It will be an Archmage versus a Death Knight in this 1v1. This Death Knight actually going to be a little bit later than normal, perhaps opening with that old-school style Crypt Fiend opening, delaying that Altar of Darkness, and then also very quickly teching the tier 2. So going for Crypt, there's that Graveyard. Death Knight's going to make its way out. We can start seeing the transition into Crypt Fiends fairly fast once it is ready. Sitting at 18/20 supply, now getting down a Tomb of Relics. Should get up another Ghoul as well, as Lumber could potentially be an issue, as that tech to tier 2 is extremely aggressive. Human off on the other side of the map here, gonna clear out the 4 Shoal Trapper. Creep Camp Archmage will get to level 2, picks up Runed Bracers, and we all know how helpful that is when you are going up against Undead. The Undead's Death Coil Frost Nova combination, such a powerful long stay of the Undead army that it almost feels out of place when you can't fully use it. Archmage making his way off to the north here. You can take a look. A footman trying to retreat back. There is a Tomb of Relics now, and with only one Ziggurat here, we're sitting at 20/20 supply. So Undead, he is playing this very, very aggressively for the tech into tier 2. Mantle of Intelligence was dropped. We should see that picked up here. Perhaps cancel that Water Elemental. That Water Elemental's time life going to get a little bit of damage off, as that Death Knight easily finishes off that Peasant. Death Knight sitting at level 1, retreating back, does have Gloves of Haste. Going to exchange some blows against that Footman. That Footman now down to 151 hit points. I believe 2 to 3 or 1 more shot and a Death Coil should do the job, unless the armor is going to protect a little bit too much. Oh, Death Coil right on the money. $100 or 100 hit points right there. RNG, even after the natural regeneration, brought him to 100 hit points, as the Archmage now clears up this Murloc creep camp here at the 3 o'clock spot. Snarecaster gets up to level 3, or excuse me, Snarecaster gives Archmage level 3. Meanwhile, Gloves of Haste and Mantle of Intelligence allowing that Archmage to really push out a lot more damage. There's a bit of a deny there, as the Death Knight now down to 134 hit points, being forced to retreat back. No tech to take it back. Tech to tier 2 now underway by Human. Meanwhile, tech to tier 2 already completed by Undead, as he quickly goes to tier 3. So this is solo hero Undead trying to put down pressure, and with Human not perhaps respecting the Undead base a little bit too much. I don't know, as a Human player, whenever I step on Blight, I feel like my units just seemingly instantly melt, especially if I don't have any priests nearby. So that seems to be the problem there. Meanwhile, Death Knight gonna make its way back onto Blight here. Heal up. Lich is already getting trained. A lot of lumber being pulled across here. Perhaps we're gonna be looking at a slaughterhouse. And with those obsidian statues, Death Knight really needs a large amount of, needs a bit of something in order to get going here. Sitting at only at level 2. All right, some easy damage here. Death Knight still regenerating while on Blight. Those skeletal minions absorbing the majority of that damage. Blight regeneration is nothing to scoff at. You can see there. 200 up to 250 already. That's just that natural regeneration being so strong. Lich now out on the battlefield. Those Lich attacks, those Frost Novas, so incredibly important early on in the game. Being able to pick off trailing units, as there are a lot of low hit point units at tier 1 and tier 2 as well. All right. Expo already up and running for Human. Tech to tier 2 about 3/4 of the way done. Tech to tier 3 about 3/4 of the way done. Obsidian statues cranking out units as well. as we're going to see this Null Overseer getting taken down. Meanwhile, Archmage shows up to the party. Footman, Water Elemental here, ready to go. Obsidian Statue going to try and regroup. A couple of ghouls going to make their way over. There is some repairs underway, and you got to be careful for those Acolytes. Acolytes will definitely need to continue to stay alive here, especially as that tech to tier 2 is now, well, nearly completed. We don't want to spend time training up those Acolytes. Meanwhile, one ghoul already down. A Death Knight sitting at level 2. There's a Frost Nova trying to splash out a little bit of units. There's a Death Coil for a save. Are we going to see some damage? One Water Elemental, another Water Elemental down. Lich still sitting at level 1 here. There's a Frost Nova trying to slow things down a bit more and still racking up a little bit more damage here. That Footman down to 130 hit points. One more auto attack and a Death Coil going to finish the job, giving level 2 to the Lich. Lich now trying to back away. No Dark Ritual there. I thought a Dark Ritual perhaps onto a Skeletal Minion coupled with well, another Frost Nova could have perhaps tried to pick off one more unit. Lich not going for Dark Ritual though. Death Knight just shy of level 3 as, well, now a human trying to push across in a rather unfavorable position. That's not a good spot to be in. You can see Orb of Corruption is already down. There's that Water Elemental. Obsidian Statue looking to retreat back. This is going to give perhaps level 2 or level 3 to the Death Knight. And we're just trying to rack up just a little bit more damage to finish off that job. Are we going to see a deny? There's level 3 on that Death Knight. Suddenly, level 2 Death Coil in play. Frost Nova onto one Footman, coupled with a Death Coil should have been enough, but no, not going after it. All right, Lich without Boots of Speed, unable to close in that distance. Perhaps going to try and pick those up. No, going after the Snapcaster first as Naga Sea Witch now with cold arrows, just reinforcing that idea of it is difficult to retreat with your units. Tome of Strength, Replenishment Potion, going to get picked up by that Death Knight. Death Knight playing a little bit of that frontline game. Meanwhile, Mountain King has those Rune Bracers, and here we go. Stormbolt inbound onto the Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch, remember, does not have the ability to get healed by that Death Knight, even though the meaning that the Lich effectively has more hit points. There's a Frost Nova down onto the Mountain King. Mountain King, Potion of Healing, Stormbolt onto the Naga Sea Witch. Mountain King trying to back away. Orb of Corruption has removed a lot of the mana as we see a quick exchange of level 1 heroes. Mountain King falls at level 1, and Naga Sea Witch falls at level 1. Archmage now up to level 4. Footman perhaps going to try and go after that Obsidian Statue. No, distance a little bit too far, and the Death Knight still has that Unholy Aura faster movement speed. All right, Obsidian Statue has to be extremely careful. Doesn't want to sacrifice itself for a Water Elemental. That Water Elemental could easily get some more damage down on, and some lasting damage perhaps, onto those units. Footman hiding off to the side. We see 2 base play. Tech to tier 3 nearly done. We are going for flying machines and perhaps knights. That seems to be the strategy of choice now for human players, to try and get around well, the high blasting damage of the Death Knight, Lich, and Naga Sea Witch. The Fork Lightning, the Frost Nova, the Death Coil all add up to large amounts of spell damage. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Well, no, people definitely subscribe and follow if you choose to. Definitely helps out the channel. Meanwhile, up on the southern side here, Archmage, Mountain King looking to get to level 2. Paladin, we're going to round out that last hero as we are going into really late game units already. Now, late game really meaning more tier 3. Tier 3 units, no idea how long this game could potentially go for. There are a couple more places on the map you can mine, so depending on how these battles are exchanged, well, things can go sideways quickly. Meanwhile, ghouls with Frenzy already diving in. This could potentially be a problem. Thank you for the sub. Death Coil saving right there. Arcane Tower not going after the Obsidian Statue. And, well, just little small micro differences that make a big impact later on. Obsidian Statue, if it was, well, attacked by that Arcane Tower, would have done a bonus damage and also removed some of that precious mana. Meanwhile, what is going on here? Flying Machines, Knights. It looks like the units are actually, are they moving slower than normal? It looks like there's formation movement on here, which wouldn't make that much sense. The Knights need to dive in and get into that position quickly. Meanwhile, the Town Hall is actually getting just absolutely raked now by all of these ghouls. All right, going to go ahead and try and engage. A lot of damage being placed down here. Water elementals coming down. There's a death coil. Mountain King, or no, well, Orb of Fire also on the Archmage. Archmage trying to save or pick off some of those units. There's a Stormbolt going down onto the Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch does have an invul potion though, so should be fine. There's a lot of Obsidian statues just hiding in the back. The fly machines are just challenging those Obsidian statues to go to take to the skies and turn into the Destroyer form. There's another Thunderclap coming across, and that is a major amount of damage across all of those low hit point ghouls. Meanwhile, I do not see a Staff of Sanctuary as of... Nope, there's that Staff of Sanctuary trying to save a low hit point knight. Archmage continuing to fire around. There's going to be one dead knight right there as both sides fighting their way through. Paladin was the one that got saved, not the knight, as ghouls are now trying to swarm that Archmage. Nearly did exactly that as that Mountain King while trying to hide in the back here. All right, a little bit more damage. Death Coil onto the Lich. Lich, however, got, I believe, attacked by that all-important attack there, the Orb of Fire, which reduces the healing. There's another Death Coil, level 3 now onto the Lich, as the Archmage could have a little bit of problems. Units are going to try to retreat back out. Archmage trying to finish off some of these other units. There's no priest, no easy way to heal. We are still getting some mining off on the Expo, but it looks like it will end up falling here shortly. All right, Paladin now makes his way back over, perhaps going to try and get in a little bit of healing going to try and save here. There goes one ghoul. That Paladin going to regroup. There is still some more repairs going on, and now Water Elementals pushing back the other way. Town Hall holding steady at 300 hit points as all of the ghouls are coming back off of the line, no longer attacking that hall there. There's another Staff of Sanctuary saving another low hit point unit, as we're still going into some Stormbolts, just trying to pick off these units. This is a war of attrition now. That is a lot of Obsidian statues to go through, though, as the Mountain King, as the Archmage going after some of these Obsidian statues. Is it going to get taken down? One or two more shots should do it. One Obsidian statue down. Archmage going to be forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal. Still some more repairs underway at that Town Hall, and, well, it's going to be a temporary, well, temporary regrouping. They need to save that Expo, sitting at 51 over 76, just trying to hold on to it barely. Are we going to get some more repairs going? That's one peasant down, and now with the Town Hall gone, well, those peasants really have nothing to do here at this Expo. After all that time, that location ends up being NWS, not worth saving, and just going to let it burn. Undead taking out this 3 o'clock expansion. All right. However, Human not wasting any time going after another location. Flying machines do not having Bombard, perhaps, a major setback, as well as these flying machines here just act as a threat to the potential of destroyers. They're not really doing anything else except making his opponents, or making the human player, sit in low upkeep, and, well, taking away some of those precious resources. That Water Elemental should just get tapped there. No reason to be walking around with 6 hit point Water Elementals, as we're looking at more, well, clearing of expansions. 4-2-1 going up against 3-3-2. This red creep camp should get cleared up quickly. This Water Elemental, well, able to stay around long enough. Mountain King gets up to level 3. And now are we going to see level 2 Thunderclap? That is the question. Yes, level 2 Thunderclap. And we should be looking at a Scroll of Town Portal inbound here in just a moment. Ghoul is going to try to make their way in. We are going into Griffins to try and snipe down those Obsidian statues. Moved back over here thinking that there would be a Scroll of Town Portal inbound, but no Scroll of Town Portal. Archmage did not buy one, and now being forced to walk all the way back. All right, 55 supply over 52. Altar of Kings about to get taken out. Archmage still making its way over and trying to counter the potential of destroyers, since they are so strong, but there's not a destroyer in sight. All right, are we going to see some more damage? Yes, there goes one ghoul. There's a death coil onto the Paladin. Paladin quickly uses a Divine Shield. There's a massive Thunderclap there. That's going to clean up all of those ghouls pretty quickly. That's going to be a lot of damage. And then now with also, well, Griffins in the air, those units are falling extremely fast. All right, ghoul after ghoul. Mountain King, however, gets taken down. Does have an Ankh of Reincarnation. Going to get back up again as the Death Knight down to 134 hit points. He needs to try and retreat back. There's a Stormbolt onto the Naga Sea Witch. Griffins can easily get finished off because, or Griffins and the air units can easily finish off the Obsidian statue. That magic attack making such a big difference there. Meanwhile, Expo being taken and established by Undead at the 3 o'clock spot. That is a bit of a surprise here. We can see one Staff of Sanctuary, two Staff of Sanctuaries. However, the Paladin currently, well, getting stabbed, cannot use another Staff of Sanctuary yet. Meanwhile, Death Coil, Gargantuan Sea Turtle, Creep Camp gonna get cleared up here. My computer's right there. I feel like this cable is so short. It's probably all snagged on something. All right. Gargantuan Sea Turtle picked up their Death Knight, now with the Scroll of the Beast, not necessarily the item he was looking for. Archmage is sitting at level 5, so Human isn't too far out from this game, even though the Expo is gone. Hero level, very strong. Level 5 Archmage, strong items in the combination of those Staff of Sanctuaries and that Rune Bracers on that Paladin to keep the units alive. Still, Flying Machines really do need Bombard or something in order to be effective as the Altar of Kings being replaced down. All right, Water Elemental, gonna try perhaps find a little bit of this. There's a Stormbolt onto the Lich. Lich could be in a little bit of trouble. There's a Orb of Fire. There's a heal. Death Knight able to heal up, I believe, about 300 hit points. As we're still looking at more battles coming down. There goes another Obsidian Statue. Obsidian Statues are falling pretty quickly. You can see the Griffins. There's a Stormbolt onto a Banshee, and once more a Banshee gets taken out there. Obsidian Statue, is it going to end up getting pressured down here? There's another, a Holy Light onto a Banshee, trying to finish it off. Banshees being such a powerful unit, seemingly countering a lot of different strategies. Curse and Possession, such a big, powerful abilities. Meanwhile, a Griffin Rider needs to back away, has to be extremely careful. What is it doing? It is still right there. Death Coil onto the Griffin. And that was a little bit of a misstep. I believe there was a Staff of Sanctuary charge waiting, ready to go, as the Paladin now gets up to level 3. All right, what item was that picked up there? I believe the Mountain King going to go ahead and Stormbolt down the Death Knight. Death Knight, however, decent on hit points, not really in danger, as the Griffins, Knights, and Flying Machines still engaging. Flying Machines, well, without a Workshop, cannot get that Bombard. Death Coil, Frost Nova straight up onto the Archmage. Archmage quickly burst down, as well, Human having a large amount of gold, not able to do much there. Archmage now back out onto the battlefield. Are we going to see him? Stormbolt, yes, now go after the Death Knight. Death Knight now could be in a little bit of trouble. Mountain King does have a little bit of mana here. Are we going to see a Thunderclap? There's a Death Coil, Frost Nova, Archmage, Holy Light. Mountain King gets in the Thunderclap there, and now, well, trying to rake up all of that damage. Meanwhile, Obsidian Statue down to 49 hit points. Archmage continuing to battle up. There's a Staff of Sanctuary saving another unit. And still, we're battling it up here. Mountain King could be in some serious trouble. He's trying to back away. There's a Staff of, or there's a Scroll of Town Portal. Mountain King ends up getting finished off. And so many low hit point undead units and so many dead human units makes me believe undead came out on top in that fight. Red as Russ, by the way. Thank you. I'm just calling them undead and human throughout this match, unless you know how to say that name. ZhyJy? ZhyJy? Alright. ZhyJy. See, like, but I would end up saying it with, like a Mandarin or Cantonese tonals. ZhyJy. MK died, not unlike in the finale. No spoilers. Archmage looking to clear out the Granite Golem Creep Camp here. Paladin gonna dive into that front side position, gain all of that experience. Undead gonna be slowed up, clearing out an orange creep camp, and because of that slow up, I believe the Mountain or the Paladin is gonna be able to clear out this creep camp pretty much unhindered. Clearing out creep camps unhindered, absolutely a big deal here. You could have had a couple of dead knights or something. Instead, there's a Staff of Sanctuary. There's a level 4 Paladin. Paladin picking up a Medallion of Courage. And, oh, leaving behind a Tome of Knowledge. All right, so Tome of Knowledge being left behind. Well, not giving chase here, going after these water elementals instead. Slow experience on the move here. Flying Machines looking to, well, just provide support eventually. So And that, I guess, is just one of the reasons why obsidian statues are such a powerful presence on the battlefield. If at any point, Rust noticed that his opponent didn't have these flying machines, well, he could have easily transformed an obsidian statue into a destroyer and had its presence be known straight up on the battlefield. Pretty much, ZhyJy is being forced to keep these flying machines here just in case, as destroyers turn the battle so quickly, especially with their water element, with the Devour magic on those water elementals. Griffin gonna get finished off. Obsidian statue staying alive here, trying to finish off some of these other targets as the Griffin Rider down to 616 hit points after a 400 hit point heal, and still somehow surviving here. All right, continuing to battle it up. Flying machines just over top. A couple of easy ghouls could get finished off here. It looks as though the Archmage, Paladin, Mountain King trying to live up in that front line spot and finish off some of these units. Banshees continuing to push their way through, casting a lot of curses and forcing their opponent to miss their targets, as we're going to see a knight getting taken out after possession. Units are retreating back. Perhaps we're going to see some more Staff of Sanctuary. Paladin currently getting regenerated here. Scroll of Regeneration could also be used to try and speed up some of that healing. Mountain King has a Clarity Potion, but that quickly comes to an end. There's a Staff of Sanctuary there as well. Mountain King also with the Staff of Sanctuary, but the Mountain King ends up getting taken down as a Paladin, unable to heal. Big upset there, as we're still looking at more damage coming through. Undead bringing the Banshees over. Obsidian statues, we could be looking at a couple more possessions as well. There's a possession. Archmage could be in trouble. Archmage gets taken down. There's a possession onto a knight. And, well, that Paladin is going to be stunned when he finally wakes up from his stupor, wondering what happened and how did the battle go, only to see the Archmage and the Mountain King get taken down, and now see a couple of turncoat knights. Human in some serious trouble at this point and stage in the game, trying to retreat back out. Archmage trying to get resurrected. You can see those flying machines are retreating back. Paladin is falling back here, perhaps going to the tavern. And all behind this, Human is sitting on 3,000 gold. So Mountain King is out onto the battlefield. Archmage could easily get trained up out on the battlefield, as well as all the enemy knight units are attempting to take down the castle and all of these remaining units here. So ZhyJy had opportunities to close out this game, sat on large amounts of gold, and didn't have the right combination of units. Flying machines overhead here. A couple of acolytes could get taken down. Main gold mine has been mined out for Russ here. Scroll of Town Portal outbound. Paladin could be in trouble. You remember he did use that Divine Shield earlier. Staff of Sanctuaries for the save, bringing that Paladin back home once more. 24 minutes into this game now. 24 minutes into this game now, and, well, still no easy wins. Archmage does have a Scroll of Town Portal, can get out of the situation quickly if necessary. Is he just going to get staffed? Yes, he's just going to get staffed back home there. Flying Machine's going to try and regroup. Mountain King does not have Boots of Speed, as a peasant gets taken out. All right, one Griffin out here to try and go after some of these other units. There's another Griffin. These two Griffins could perhaps actually snipe down a unit or two, but now Undead shows up. Lich does show up. Naga Sea Witch coupled with, cold arrows. And now the Lich with the Orb of Corruption should be more than enough. Mountain King getting ready to engage, and here we are fighting back the other way. Stormbolt finds a ghoul, taking those small victories any way you can. Anti-magic shell, well, gonna counter any more Stormbolts and some of that Griffin damage, as the armies are ready to engage again. Griffin's pretty much saying, what can I attack now? There's not much he can really do. Perhaps go after the obsidian statues. With the armor type, it actually should increase the amount of damage and then quickly reduce that anti-magic cell. Banshee's now trying to retreat back. Flying Machine's not going to be able to really do anything there. Mountain King shows up amongst all of those units. There's another Staff of Sanctuary trying to save a Griffin Rider. Water Elemental getting summoned up. Mountain King could be in trouble, down to 139 hit points. No, he gets Staff of Sanctuary back home as well. All right, both sides still fighting. Flying Machines staying overhead here. ghouls finishing off another water elemental. There's another holy light. Water elemental continuing to battle it up here as these obsidian statues could get taken down. New banshees showing up to the party as well. There's a holy light again. And, well, this Griffin Rider down to 451 hit points and might need to get staffed, but I don't know what the cooldowns are across all of those there. Continuing the battle up, there goes one Griffin Rider finally getting shot down here. Banshees, 47 supply compared to 69. Human not in a good spot at all, but he is still mining off of additional bases, as you can see on the mini-map, taking that 8 o'clock location. Archmage going to be running around the hills here. The Paladin regrouping, and we're still seeing some holy lights being placed down. All right, perhaps trying to take down one ghoul, trying to take any unit that you can get for a little bit of an advantage. Meanwhile, Griffin Rider down to 288 hit points. He gets staffed to Sanctuary back home as another Obsidian statue gets taken down. All right, so the Griffin Rider is going straight after those Obsidian statues. You can see the Obsidian statues dealing so much attack damage per slight attack here, as this one Griffin Rider going to get finished off. I believe that was a Frost Nova by the Lich. Lich with a damaging plus 20 attack here. Archmage not going after the Obsidian statue. Mountain King not being able to catch up. Are we going to see perhaps a turnaround Stormbolt? No, we are not. That Obsidian statue able to hide back over there on the top right. That Tome of Knowledge still never read. Both sides fighting again. Archmage trying to retreat back off to the north. Archmage does have a Scroll of Town Portal. Going to be forced to use it. The Obsidian statue trying to get away. And once more, no bombard means that those flying machines are not really doing anything. 54 supply and now down to 200 gold for ZhyJy. Meanwhile, Russ is taking that northern expansion as well. So both players are running up on two bases. However, Russ's two bases, one only has 5 minutes of mining left, while this one only has 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes, and this one only has about 10 minutes. So, well, taking the right expo is going to be key. Undead has the hero, has a hero level advantage, has a larger army, and is getting up on bases. So this is the time that Russ needs to really continue and keep up that pressure, force strong fights for him, while the Griffins are now trying to make their way over. All right, trying to go after some units. Paladin gets up to level 5 pretty quickly. Fly machine showing up. There goes a Knight does not get blasted down. Finally gets blasted down there. The Griffins with their hammers are actually dealing decent damage, can finish off perhaps a couple of more Obsidian statues and taking down more of the units that are holding the army together. Undead gets up, or Death Knight gets up to level 6, so does the Archmage. Both sides fighting their way through, trying to finish off some units. Griffins are now going after the Obsidian statues. Water Elementals are still out here. Water Elementals actually making a bigger play than typically, as there has been no destroyers as of yet. Undead, Animate dead, couple of more ghouls and knights out here onto the battlefield, as we're still seeing more damage being placed down. Mountain King still sitting at level 4 though, without level 5 Stormbolt. That is going to be a difficult proposition. There's a Divine Shield on the Paladin. That seemed a little bit premature. No Death Coil or Frost Nova inbound, as the Mountain King still fighting his way through. There goes another Griffin heal again, as the Mountain King could perhaps staff a Sanctuary. Is he going to save that Griffin? No. Holy Light, 600 hit point heal again, as the Mountain King gets staff a Sanctuary by the Archmage. Still fighting its way through. Divine Shield about to come to an end. Units are now in full retreat and trying to head back home. Archmage, no Scroll of Town Portal, has to play this very carefully, as, well, a ghoul takes a Holy Light. This expo about to fall. 54 supply compared to 71. Russ having that big lead, as this gold mine here about to come to an end. It is soon, well, in about 3 minutes, this gold mine will get taken down, and then in about 5 minutes, this gold mine will get taken out. So it is going to be a back and forth game. There's a Nerubian tower. That's going to be one down to Ziggurat, and now going after this Nerubian tower here. 53 supply compared to 72. 61 supply army compared to 43, as there is one arcane tower here which will be able to feed back some damage. Death Knight now going to dive on in. Arcane tower, well, a little bit of repairs. No, not going to even bother. Easily gets finished off. A Pendant of Energy picked up by the Death Knight now. Going to perhaps clean up the rest of these remaining units, as this gold mine about to fall. A couple of peasants perhaps trying to set up a new base here. This may not be worth building, as well, 400 gold to try and build up this base, only to extract 1,580 gold out of it. That is probably a NWS, or not worth building, just not enough resources. Long distance mining, perhaps the better way to go. Both sides lost a base, so now we are on 1 base versus 0. Mountain King really needs that last bit of experience. Now making its way off to the north as we, well, see some siege engines joining in on the fight. So 50 over 76 supply. Siege engines getting ready to dive in. Mountain King can easily Stormbolt finish off some of these units here and, well, take down these buildings. Why Stormbolt the Acolyte if you're not going to finish him off? Destroyers are now finally out on the battlefield. Griffins are going to try to engage here, and that is a lot of destroyers. All right, here we are, level 5 now on the Mountain King, as the Griffins are finished off all the obsidian statues. No more glue to hold the army together, but there are enough destroyers out in the battlefield to really cause problems. All right, there goes another Griffin there. Water Elementals trying to get summoned up to deal with all of these destroyers, only to notice that the destroyers can devour magic so quickly and finish them off. Anti-magic shell protecting that Naga Sea Witch. Stormbolt's not going to do anything but stun them as another Acolyte gets taken out. Archmage continuing this fight here. Are we perhaps going to see the rocket clusters to try and deal with these destroyers? Archmage continuing to battle up. Mountain King perhaps going to get a Stormbolt down onto the Death Knight. Oh, Death Knight falls at level 6. Death Knight falls at level 6. Staff of Sanctuary, no Staff of Sanctuary saving the Archmage. So 2 level 6 heroes have been taken down. Well, lucky for Russ. Russ still has 2 more level 6 heroes back at home. All right, continuing that battle here. Mountain King, Staff of Sanctuary for the save. We could have another level 6 hero get taken down there. There's the Stormbolt. Oh, Potion of Invulnerability in time for the save. Death Knight now out onto the battlefield. Are we going to see another Holy Light continuing to battle it up here? Stormbolt goes down onto the Death Knight. One more attack onto the Death Knight. Death Knight gets one more attack, gets taken down, and the Mountain King falls as well. Both sides are still falling. Death Knight falls at level 6. Mountain King falls at level 5. Paladin is out here with the Divine Shield. He's going to be able to perhaps Holy Light down the Lich, and this game is completely different now, as the Paladin is now at level 6, has level 3 Divine Shield chasing after the Naga Sea Witch here. All right, a bunch of heroes down. However, the Paladin has no way of really dealing with destroyers. Mining still happening over here on the bottom left. No resurrection here at all. No flying machines getting trained, and this game is just absolutely crazy. All right, Mountain King getting resurrected, gonna get Holy Lighted. Perhaps the Staff of Sanctuary sent back home. Trying to figure out the proper way to do everything, as the Paladin doesn't have enough gold here, just needs to dance around and perhaps head back home. Long distance mining still underway. Naga Sea Witch, well, and the Undead Army mining off of, well, essentially having one base. Destroyers find their way to the expo here on the bottom left. There wasn't much gold there to begin with either, and ZhyJy is still in a bit of trouble. Orb of Fire now on the Mountain King. That's what we needed to see. Perhaps also giving an Orb of Fire off of a resurrected Archmage to the Paladin, a way to attack air. That is going to be the key thing there. There's the fly machines looking to engage here. No bash, though. Mountain King just continuing these attacks as we're seeing more flying machines show up. Perhaps a little bit of flak cannons can do the job, as that destroyer is now down to 145 hit points. Both sides looking to engage. That destroyer, or that flying machine, having a really bad day trying to give chase, and it looks as though it's not going to be able to do that easily. All right. Yeah, Mountain King, if it had a bash, could perhaps get in a lucky bash on a target there. Griffin shows up. There's a Stormbolt finishing off a Knight. Mountain King could finish off perhaps another Knight here. Orb of Fire there. Units are going to try and fall back again. Paladin could easily Holy Light, perhaps Staff of Sanctuary, that unit back once more. All right. There's a Holy Light, finishes off a low hit point unit. Gonna try and take down that one take down that one Knight there. And now level 6 on that Mountain King. Mountain King could go after the Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch, not respecting the Mountain King, ends up getting flattened. Level 7 Naga Sea Witch falls. Level 7 Paladin, level 6 Mountain King still out on the battlefield. Orb of Fire on that Mountain King, allowing him to attack air. Knights are in position. They were going to get some attacks now onto the destroyers as the ghouls are trying to retreat back away. Mountain King still flying their way through. We can see one flying machine. Are we going to see enough damage onto that down as the Mountain King turns and tries to take down this location here? No resurrection. Flying machine is healing up here. There's still a couple of destroyers. 17 supply compared to 51. Resurrection on the back at home. Altar of Darkness resurrecting the Lich now. Death Knight now back out on the battlefield. And what is going to go down? Mountain King makes its way down here. Paladin sells some items as well. Is he going to try and pick up an Orb of Fire? That is the question to have, as that Mountain King still exchanging blows onto that destroyer, at least for now. That destroyer down to 333 hit points. Paladin making his way off to the north, perhaps going to try and Divine Shield or Staff of Sanctuary out that unit. No, there's a Holy Light to take down another Acolyte. He's just going to Staff of Sanctuary him out and then Divine Shield. 45 seconds of invulnerability coupled with 300 hit point nukes mean that mining is going to be nearly impossible for the undead. Mountain King shows back up and is trying to provide a bit of cover again, taking down another destroyer. Destroyer down to 395 hit points. He's going to be forced to back away. Paladin still walking back easily. We see resurrection now on the Archmage back at home the old-fashioned way, as the Paladin's Divine Shield will finally come to an end. All right. Still more engaging here. Mountain King should really be going after the lower hit point target. Not quite sure what is going down here. Yeah, turn around. There's 297 hit point, 404. Flying Machine looking to retreat back. There's another Staff of Sanctuary for a save. Paladin is out on the battlefield as well, as the destroyers are trying to finish off all of the mining at this expo down on the southern spot. All right, a little bit of attacks there. Orb of Fire destroyer being forced to retreat back. One unit mining here, and well, near full saturation once more back at the north. Nagasiewicz, is it getting resurrected? Yes, it is. Third and final undead hero, soon to be back out onto the battlefield. Meanwhile, Archmage is already out on the battlefield. Perhaps should give the Orb of Fire to the Paladin. What is he going to sell? Is he going to sell anything? No, he is not. Just simply on the move now. I'm trying to go up against all of these units. All right, there's a little bit of engagement. There's some damage. Unit's going to try and retreat back around. There's a Divine Shield. The Archmage drops down a Water Elemental. Both sides are fighting. Archmage going to go ahead and go after those units. He's going to give an Orb of Fire to the Paladin. That would work out extremely well since... Yeah, just give an Orb of Fire to that Paladin. Give that Paladin some way to attack up. And with that, that should be enough. There's a Stormbolt down onto the Archmage, or onto the Death Knight. Death Knight takes a little bit more damage again. Ghoul quickly going to get taken down. Archmage could be in trouble. Down to 59 hit points before getting Staff of Preservation back home. Death Knight perhaps wanting to go after that Archmage. Doubles back around and doesn't respect the Paladin's Holy Light there. And now, well, Paladin is out on the battlefield still with no way to attack up. Mountain King going after that Lich, but without Boots of Speed, not going to be able to do it easily. All right. Exchanging blows again and again. At Death Knight now back out onto the battlefield. Are we going to see a Stormbolt onto the Death Knight? No, we do not. Mountain King unable to click amongst a sea of units, as the Archmage is nearly back up to full hit points again.
The town is under siege.
Paladin shows up to the party, says Holy Light. Mountain King says Stormbolt. And, well, 2 Acolytes already down. Still fighting their way through. Little bit of mining happening down on the south side here. Just sniping down units left and right. It is a poor day to be a worker in the WarCraft 3 economy. Plenty of Acolytes and Peasants lost at the hands of heroes, as units now fall back once more. Archmage should be back up to full hit points. I don't know why he's not engaging. That's got to be a misstep by ZhyJy, as we see a Divine Shield now being used. All right. Mountain King, Staff of, could he get, Stormbolt onto the Death Knight here. Paladin trying to retreat back. Yeah, having a little bit of mana could be a big deal. They're going to see a Staff of Sanctuary. Yes, Staff of Sanctuary saves the units, brings them back home. A Knight's now back across here. We can see a low hit point Knight trying to get saved. Flying Machines now showing up to the party, and there's Orb of Fire as well. Applying down. There's a Holy Light onto the Mountain King to try and break free from that Staff of Sanctuary, as the Clarity Potion now being used by the Paladin alongside a Brilliance Aura. So that's going to be very fast regeneration. Archmage is looking at the Paladin saying, why aren't you joining in on the battle? And the Paladin is just like, come on, man, give me that Orb of Fire. All right, Paladin dancing around in the backfield. Flying Machines all getting taken out. We're still looking at some easy damage here. That Mountain King perhaps could Stormbolt down another unit again. I don't know. ZhyJy, if you watch my replay, let me know if you think giving the Orb of Fire would make sense. Paladin doesn't seem to be doing very much right now. 192 gold left. Gonna look for an engagement here. Going after some of those units. Can't Stormbolt them. Stormbolting the Lich. Lich is gonna get into a little bit of trouble. There's a Holy Light onto the Death Knight. And now, Paladin still has mana, but more importantly, Mountain King still has another bullet in the chamber. Low hit point Destroyer in the back trying to retreat. Looks like it will be able to do exactly that. That Unholy Aura, faster movement speed, so powerful for all of these hit and run tactics. Stormbolt straight up onto the Banshee. Banshee gonna get taken down now. Flying Machine going after some of those Destroyers. Destroyer could easily get taken down. Water Elemental is gonna finish off one, gonna finish off another Destroyer. 2 Destroyers down, only 1 left. Archmage now gets up to level 7, and that is gonna be the game. Russ unable to close out, finish off the enemy heroes at 876. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.